Hello everyone, welcome back to the Solo Raid Guide series. This video will cover Akkan. This raid is essential to getting a new set of gear. You'll be transferring over from Belshazzar Ancient to Akkan Ancient gear. I do hope this video helps you out a lot. If it does, please be sure to give it a like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. With that out of the way, let's jump right into the guide. Before we get into the guide itself, I want to remind everyone that every character in your roster will now be able to equip 5 engravings for free. This is permanent for the entirety of Tier 3. This is great for those that want to play alt characters that were not properly built in the past. Just make sure you obtain some accessories that have the correct combat stat for the build you are playing. You can head on over to lostark.nexus website for class build guides to make sure your character is built properly. The Solo Mode Raid shop gives a variety of goodies. You can buy honing books and honing materials every week from the shop, in addition to level 6 and level 7 gems that do not expire and cost no silver to reroll. When you enter a raid solo, the game will allow you to select a special buff that lasts throughout the fight. This buff can be changed once you restart the raid or in between gate 1, 2, etc. For this solo raid guide, I will only discuss major gimmicks and mechanics. The battle items you want to bring along will be Flame Grenade and Panacea. If you are lacking damage, you can replace Flame Grenade with Dark Grenade. The first major mechanic happens at 140 HP lines or below. The boss will jump in the air, and you will see multiple orbs around the map. You need to kill one of these orbs, it does not matter which one. Afterwards, the boss will throw down 1 or 2 spears on the ground, noted by a yellow telegraph. When the boss lands on the ground, walk into the spear. This will make you immune to his map-wide attack. The second major mechanic happens at 130 HP lines or below. This will be a stagger check. You will notice a debuff above your mana bar. The debuff will be green for 2 seconds, then once it expires it will turn yellow. You need to use Panacea when a debuff icon is yellow. When you do this, you will get a red debuff lasting 4 seconds that allows you to deal sufficient stagger to the boss. The moment you Panacea the yellow debuff, complete the stagger check. If you do not Panacea the yellow debuff, you will not be able to deal sufficient stagger. The next major mechanic happens at 112 HP lines or below. The boss will jump in the air and your camera will zoom out a bit. You will see one orb near the middle of the map. You need to kill it as soon as you can. Then the boss will land in the middle and try to grab you. This will be noted by a small yellow telegraph. The yellow telegraph will be facing the direction that the orb spawned at. You need to get grabbed by the boss. If you do not, you will die. Once you get grabbed, you will be thrown on the ground, then a bunch of orbs will spawn on the map. There will be green orbs and black orbs. You need to kill the orbs that match the color beneath your feet. Ignore the opposite color orbs. A moment after you kill all the orbs that match your color, the boss will stand up and trigger a cutscene. Use the Sadriel Anana when the boss is about to stand up. After the cutscene, you will notice a timer at the top left of your screen. Your goal here is to push the boss to 90 HP lines before the timer runs out. If you run out of time, you will die. Once you push the boss at 90 HP lines, another cutscene will occur. Then you will need to quickly press G on your keyboard at the edge to jump over to the other side of the map. As you move up the map, your camera will zoom out and you will see 2 paths to take. One path will show an initial animation of debris falling down. This will always be the incorrect path to take. Walk up the path that did not show debris falling down. When you get to the top of the map, do not jump over to the other side just yet. Wait until the water fills up to the last set of stairs. Then you are free to jump over. If you jump early, the boss may perform a series of annoying attacks. After a moment of jumping over, the boss will land wherever you are standing. This will be shown as a red telegraph. You should stay close to the middle and wait for him to land so that you have plenty of room to fight the boss. Getting hit by yellow telegraphed attacks can knock you into the water at this point in the fight. When you get knocked into the water, you will have to complete a spacebar minigame to prevent drowning. Every time you get knocked into the water, you will receive a debuff that can stack. Every stack makes the minigame more difficult. If you get knocked into the water too many times, the minigame will be impossible and you will die. You can cleanse this water debuff with Anana, but you should only use Anana during a certain mechanic which I will discuss in a moment. The next major mechanic happens at 75 HP lines or below. The boss will throw 2 spears on the ground. Avoid these spears for the time being. A large bug will spawn somewhere at the edge of the map. You need to kill this large bug quickly as it will attempt to move towards the boss. If it touches the boss, you will die. Smaller bugs will also spawn and move towards you. You can auto-attack these bugs to kill them. Afterwards, the boss will charge up the same attack as the first mechanic. You do not want to walk into the spear until the fog goes away. The entire floor will be covered by black fog. Once that black fog goes away, walk inside the spear. The next major mechanic happens at 50 HP lines or below. The boss will jump in the air and land in the middle of the map, noted by a red telegraph. Stand close to the boss. When you see the boss lifting his weapon up, use the Anana Sadryu. This will trigger a special interaction. You need to complete the stagger check on the boss after using the Anana Sadryu. Once you finish the stagger check, the boss will be staggered for a very long time. Use this time to dish out as much damage as you possibly can. The last major mechanic cap is at 21 HP lines or below. The boss will move to the middle of the map and turn into a large egg with a green aura around him. For the start of this mechanic, position yourself near the edge of the map. A lot of bugs will spawn on the map. You need to kill them as quickly as you can. This is where Flame Grenade comes in handy. If 5 bugs were to hit you, you will become paralyzed for a few seconds. If you kill 3 bugs, you will get a buff. This buff allows you to deal extra damage to shield. Every time the bell rings, the boss will gain a large shield. You need to get close to the boss to deplete his shield. However, his green aura gives you a stacking debuff. You need to move out after you get 7 to 8 stacks. Once you step out, the debuff will be cleansed. Your goal is to deplete his shield every time the bell rings. You can hear the bell ring if you turn on your in-game volume or look at the visual animation on your screen every time it happens. Walk in, deplete his shield, then walk out. But make sure you walk out before you get 10 stacks, otherwise you will die. After doing this a few times, the boss will show a cutscene, then move into the final phase. The goal of this final phase is simple. Get the boss down to 0 HP lines to end the fight. 2 random patterns will occur every 30 seconds. The first one involves him standing still with the green aura around him. After a few seconds, he will quickly show a red line telegraph. Getting hit by this telegraph will kill you. The second attack involves him jumping in the air with a bunch of green puddles spawning beneath your feet. Stay on the move and pay attention to your minimap. In a moment, the boss will land somewhere on the edge of the map. Then he will glow blue. Use your counter skill for extra DPS uptime. For Gate 2, you want to bring Corrosive Bomb in Stealth Robe or Camouflage Robe. This fight involves a meter gimmick. You will be familiar with this gimmick if you completed Vicus and Kakul Seidon in the past. This meter will slowly fill up over time in solo mode. If it fills up entirely, you'll be paralyzed for a few seconds. The boss will perform attacks that are designed to fill up your meter. Every time your meter fills up, you will gain a debuff that can stack. If you get 5 stacks of this debuff, you will die. Around 170 HP lines, the boss will move to the middle and show a green aura around him. Avoid this green aura and kill the 2 tentacles that spawned on the map. After a few moments, the green aura will go away, then you can move back in and damage the boss. The first major mechanic happens at 162 HP lines or below. The boss will move to the middle and draw a circle around him. Move away from the boss to avoid unnecessary damage. A cutscene will occur. After this cutscene, you will see an object somewhere on the ground. A red ghoul will spawn on the map that will walk towards this object. If the red ghoul comes into contact with this object, it will be a wipe. You need to use Camouflage or Stealth Robe when the red ghoul gets close to the object, then pick it up quickly and start moving. While holding this object, you will get a slow debuff that stacks. You will notice that there are small circles on the map. There are 4 in total, located at the X3+1 positions. If you use the first skill in your action bar to throw the skull onto one of these circles, it will remove the slow debuff. You should consistently throw the object onto one of these circles to remove the slow debuff. Once the green aura in the middle goes away, the mechanic is finished. Throw the object away, then you will see the boss appear in the middle. The boss will usually follow up with a Medusa attack after this mechanic ends. You will see a red eye above him. Look away to avoid being feared. The next major mechanic cap is at 140 HP lines or below. A red aura will be shown in the middle of the map. Move away from the middle to avoid building up your meter. A series of red telegraphs will occur on the outside or inside. Standing on these red telegraphs, even for a brief moment, will increase your meter. If you want, you can use the Anana Sadryu. This will decrease your meter, prevent damage, and prevent knockback. I recommend standing near the edge of the map if you decide to use Inanna. The boss will perform a series of normal attacks. Then after a few attacks, he will vanish and teleport behind you. You need to move away from him as fast as you can. He is going to follow up with the instant death attack. The next major mechanic happens at 110 HP lines or below. The boss will either move to the middle and perform this mechanic, or he will do it wherever he is currently standing. The map will darken, and you will see 2 skulls next to the boss, one to his left and one to his right. You need to stand in the boss's shadow, which is behind him. In a moment, one of the skulls next to him will glow. This indicates what direction the shadow will move. If the right skull is glowing, the shadow will move left. If the left skull is glowing, the shadow will move right. The shadow will either turn 90 degrees or 180. The goal is to always stand in the shadow to avoid dying. If the shadow starts with a 180-degree spin, the next one will also be a 180. If you see two 90-degree spins back to back, the next one will always be a 180. If you see a 90 then a 180, the next one will be a 90. Pay attention to which skull is glowing and move in the opposite direction. The next major mechanic happens at 85 HP lines or below. This mechanic is the same as 140 with a slight difference. When the mechanic starts, the boss will instantly teleport behind you and try to kill you. If you get hit, you will die. This attack is a bit delayed, so stay away and wait until he does the attack, then move back in to do damage. If the side rail is up when this mechanic occurs, you can trigger the special Thyrain plus Nineveh combo attack here. When the boss teleports behind you, use Thyrain to trigger the special attack. The next major mechanic happens at 53 HP lines or below. Stand next to the object, wait for the red ghoul to get close, then use your camouflage or stealth robe and pick up the object. You need to keep moving and throw the object on one of the circles at the X3+1 position to cleanse the slow debuff. Rinse and repeat until the mechanic is finished. The last major mechanic happens at 0 HP lines. The boss will move to the middle, then a cutscene will occur. After the cutscene is finished, throw your corrosive bomb on the boss and use the Thyrain side reel. This last mechanic is similar to Vault and Ghost Phase, except the difference is that you need to perform enough weak point damage to end the fight. Every few seconds, a clone will spawn on the edge of the map and will attempt to charge by, grabbing anyone in the way. When the clone appears, you will know where it is located due to the long yellow telegraph. Quickly walk up to the clone and counter it. Every counter will reset your cooldowns and build up side reel meter. Use the Thyrain side reel every time it is filled up. In between each counter, perform some weak point skills on the boss to shave off the weak point check. After 2 Thyrains, the mechanic should be complete. If you fail the weak point check, it will be a wipe. For Gate 3, you should bring Dark Grenade and Atropine. The first major mechanic happens at 200 HP lines or below. The boss will show a dialogue box, then move to the middle of the map. You will see 4 statues and 3 NPCs spawn near the middle. The 3 NPCs will be blocking a laser that comes from 3 statues. The boss will also have a shield surrounding him. When his mechanic starts, a bunch of red telegraphs will spawn on the map. You need to avoid these red telegraphs, otherwise you will die. Once the red telegraph goes away, go to the laser that is not being blocked by any NPC. Block the laser while being close to the boss. Wait for the shield to go away, then perform stagger on the boss. Depending on what class you play, you may not finish a stagger check in one rotation. This stagger check lasts a long time, so if you cannot finish it off quickly, another wave of red telegraphs will spawn. Dodge the red telegraphs, then go back to the laser, wait for the shield to go away, then rinse and repeat stagger on the boss. You should be finished by the second rotation of red telegraphs. The next major mechanic happens at 165 HP lines or below. The boss will teleport to the right side of the map. 2 NPCs will spawn near the middle of the map. The boss will fire a green laser that one of the NPCs will be intercepting. You need to go to the opposite side of the map and walk over the purple tether that spawned so that you can pick it up. When you pick up this tether, you will get a debuff that reduces your movement speed. You need to walk around the NPC so that the purple tether can be attached to it. Once your debuff goes away, or when your abilities on your action bar are no longer locked, walk through the tether to pick it up from the NPC. You then need to walk all the way to the boss and wrap around him so that the purple tether is attached to the boss. After a moment, his shield will go away. When your abilities are no longer locked, finish a stagger check on the boss to complete the mechanic. Once you finish a stagger check, you can use Thyrain, or you can use Anana if your plague meter is almost filled up. The next major mechanic happens at 140 HP lines or below. The boss will move to the middle of the map. Afterwards, your camera will zoom out and you will need to solve a puzzle. Most of the statues will be positioned in a way where it mostly solves it for you. Every statue has a laser that is pointing to another statue. The statues will either resemble a near-complete hexagon or a star. There will be 2 statues that are out of place. You need to walk up to these 2 statues and press G to rotate it. It needs to be rotated in a way where it completes the shape. In addition, do not come into contact with the black laser. The black laser does a ton of damage. I'm showing a picture on screen now that shows both shapes. You can use this as a point of reference if you like. Once the mechanic is complete, the boss will be staggered on the ground, giving you a decent window to deal damage. Afterwards, he will stand up and take reduced damage. This will be the start of Phase 2. Phase 2 does not have any major mechanics, but there are enhanced attacks that you need to be aware of. In addition, a special gimmick will now occur until the end of the fight. I will discuss this gimmick now. Shortly after the 140 mechanic, Wei will show a dialog box and you will see an object on the ground around 7 o'clock. Picking up this object will bring you into a separate dimension. In this dimension, there will be mobs that will follow you and try to attack you. They do not do much damage. In addition, while you're holding this object, your meter will slowly fill up. In solo mode, there will be green puddles that periodically spawn on the map. These puddles are designed to hinder your battle space and increase your meter. When you start to see green puddles near you, pick up the object. Within this separate dimension, you can cleanse these green puddles by using the first skill in your action bar. You will need to frequently pick up this object to cleanse the green puddles so that you have a lot of room to fight the boss. Now I will discuss the special attacks that occur in the second phase. In the second phase, the boss will randomly give you a curse. This will be shown via a tether that is attached to you and the boss. The tether will either be red, blue, or green. The red tether means you need to move away from the boss. In a moment, your character will lose control and start moving towards the boss. If you get too close to the boss, you will die. The blue tether means you need to stand close to the boss. In a moment, your character will lose control and start moving away from the boss. If you are too far away, when the blue tether spawns, you will die. The green tether means that puddles will drop underneath your feet momentarily. These puddles will stick around for some time and will increase your meter when you step on them. You should move to the edge of the map and drop the puddles at the edge. 3 puddles in total will spawn under your feet. Another special attack is when the boss teleports to the edge of the map. The tell for this attack is by paying attention to your minimap. If the boss randomly goes to the edge of the map, you need to quickly go to the opposite side of the map and stay close to the edge. In a moment, the boss will teleport behind you and charge up an instant death attack. Move behind him to avoid dying. At the same time, bugs will spawn that you need to kill. Focus on getting behind the boss, then kill the bugs. Another special attack will occur when the boss moves to the middle of the map with his front attack indicator pointing at 6 o'clock. You will need to go to the edge of the map and dodge the incoming skulls that spawn. Focus on dodging them to prevent filling up your meter. The slime attack will occur when the boss moves to the middle with his back attack indicator pointing to the bottom side of the map. 3 attacks will occur, all of which will increase your meter if you are hit by it. If the back attack indicator is pointing at 6 o'clock, the first safe spot will be at 5 or 7 o'clock. Then the second safe spot will be at the bottom portion of 6 o'clock. Then the last safe spot will be near the boss. This applies to any other variation. After the 3 attacks, a green slime will spawn on the map. You can look at your mini-map to see where the green slime is located. Kill it as soon as you can. When you kill the green slime, it will show you a blue telegraph that you should move away from. Tentacles will also spawn on the map that you should kill. At this point in the fight, if your meter is almost filled up, you can use the Anana Sadrio. The last major mechanic happens around 30 HP lines. The boss will move to the middle of the map and slam the ground multiple times. Stand behind the boss to prevent unnecessary damage. A cutscene will occur. After the cutscene, majority of the map will be broken and you have limited space to fight the boss. A lot of mobs will spawn attempting to attack you and block off your movement. At the same time, the boss will target you with a laser that is designed to knock you off the map. There are 3 versions of this laser that he can perform. A laser that fires in front of him, a laser from his left and right side, or a laser that continues to rotate. All of them can be avoided by standing behind him. You need to deal damage to the boss until 15 HP lines are below. The Sadrio will be up at this point or close to being filled up. When the boss is at 15 or below, use the Wei Sadrio. This will trigger a special interaction that will end the fight. Just make sure you stand off to the side, as the laser that Wei will be firing to the boss can also kill you. And that will conclude the Akkan solo raid guide. I will try my best to release solo mode guides of other raids as soon as I can. If you're a new or returning player, I highly suggest you complete the Legion raids in order starting from Vaulton. This is all I have for now. I will see everyone in the next video. Peace.